And we are just going one step farther in reducing them. So far, the only problems that they've given you in the book have been really simple ones to reduce, like 2/4, which is what, divide them both by 2, you end up with 1/2. Now they're gonna give you ones where you have to think a little bit more about the reducing of it. For example, let's say here's a question from the book. 60% is what fraction? Who's got a thought on what 60% is as a fraction? How would I make 60% a fraction? Leighton?
You would divide it by
You don't need to divide, just write it over 100, because 60% means out of 100, so to change a percent to a fraction, it just means you take it and put it over 100. 60% is the same thing as 60 over 100. And this is what they're talking about, a little more complicated reducing, okay? So when you look at this, what number can you divide both 60 and 100 by? There's some easier ones and there's some harder ones. Jacob?
20.
Alright, you could do 20. How many of you are thinking something else? Alright, I'm gonna hold off on your 20, because 20 gets me there too fast. Leighton, what are you thinking?
10.
Okay, if you do 10, this is kind of the gist of what the book is getting at, you end up with 6 over 10. But the problem is, 6 over 10 can still be reduced. Now, Jacob, when he said, and he kind of took what the book was going at here, 20 is the biggest number that you can reduce it by, and you'll end up with 3 over 5, which can't be reduced. But if you pick 10, which you can do to get 6 tenths, then you have to recognize that this one still is not in what we call its simplest terms, not reduced all the way. Then you'd have to divide them both again by 2, because 2 goes into both of them and get 3/5. You will still get the right answer, it's just that it's going to take you one more step in here. If you don't pick the biggest number right off the bat, you're gonna have to reduce again. If you do like Jacob said and pick the biggest number, then it only takes one to get there. It's a little like 8/16. Maybe you're looking at it and you go, oh, well, 4 goes into both of those. I can do 4, but when I end up with is 2 over 8, I have to look at 2 over 8 and say, is that reduced all the way? Chase, what can go into 2 and 8? 2, you can divide them in half again and get 1/4. Or at the very beginning, you could have said, oh, 8 goes into both of those, and if you used 8 right away, you'll get, I'm sorry, what did I do wrong? Oh, 8 divided, this should have been 4, because this is actually a half, sorry. I'm gonna say that didn't look right. Alright, if you'd have done 8 right away, 16 divided by 8 is 2, and you'd get half just with 1 reducing, as opposed to here where you have to go with 2 reducings. How about this one? Write 25% as a fraction. What is 25% as a fraction? Your band today?
Yes.
25% as a fraction. What is 25% as a fraction? Riley? 1/4. Why? Because 25% is 25 out of 100. What can you divide 25 and 100 both by? Cassie? Yeah, 25 goes to both of them. Some of you may have done 25 divided by 25 is 1, 100 divided by 25 is 4. If you did 5 right off the bat, that's fine. You just have to know that you get 5 over 20, that if you get 5 over 20, that can be reduced again by what number? 5. So it takes a little while to get the whole gist of all the reducing, but you gotta, every time you see a fraction, you gotta say, can I reduce that? Can we make it a smaller number so that it's easier? How about another one? What about this one? 3/4 times 4/5. What is 3/4 times, what did I say? Times 4/5. What do I get if I multiply those together? Caleb Fisher.
12 threes.
12 over 20. So when you get 12 over 20, if it's a fraction, you gotta look at that and go, is that reduced all the way? Can you simplify it? Which is just what number goes into 12 and 20 that you can reduce them by? Is that great? So if you do by 2, you end up with 6 over 10. You have to then, you have to look at 6 over 10 and say, can I reduce it some more? Can 6 over 10 be reduced? By what, Matthew?
You have to reduce it by 2 again.
2 again, which gives you 3/5. Now, if at the beginning you'd have looked at 12 over 20 and said, oh, 4 goes into it, if you would have done 4 right off the bat, you would have got 3/5 right away. You can't reduce that anymore. But not always is it real clear or obvious what's the biggest thing that goes into some numbers. So sometimes you have to take a couple steps. Sometimes you have to reduce it 3 times. Because you don't quite get it. Got it? Perfect. All right. Then